Right, so welcome back to WASD 2019. We're just about to start Spyro 1 from the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and just before we start, we did have a donation incentive, which was a bid war for the colour of Spyro during this run. We've had 3 additional donations since our last break. We've had £10 from the Marvel for Team Green. He gives a message, one jump rimp, at least I tried. So thanks for the Marvel. He recently did the Symbiote Zero. We have £14 from Ryan. He says, take my energy, ooh woo, also make Spyro pink, please. So that's £14 there. And we have £10 from Finbar. We said it on the stream and we weren't kidding, green. So with the total, is that the winner? Okay, the winner of the bid war is, with £72.82, is pink. So the run shall be done with pink Spyro. And without further ado, could people on cam, if you want to, introduce yourselves and we can get the run started.
I'm Zoggoth, I'll be running this game.
I'm Motek, I played the original a lot.
I'm Jake. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine, we'll do it.
Okay, I'm Jake. I've only played 100% the first game, so on Reignited, so it should be pretty good to watch it go fast.
And I'm here. I played some of them occasionally when I was younger.
Right, ready to start? Right, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, well.
Rip 3 seconds.
You want to restart that?
No.
Okay.
Like 0.2
Right.
seconds.
First thing we do is we have a long load into the only cutscene of the game, and then we immediately skip the only cutscene of the game.
Oh.
Amazing.
So I'll be doing... So cutscenes don't count for the overall time, because it's timed on the actual in-game timer. But I'll generally try to optimize for real time for this, because you don't want to sit through a load of loading screens just to save 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. So that first dragon, you're not meant to be able to skip this cutscene, but by jumping before you pick it up, you're able to. All other dragons in the game can be skipped normally, just mash triangle. Right, this is pretty unusual for an 80% run. Most of them don't pick up this, but I decided to, so it's relatively fast, so it's 300 gems. So usually for Spyro any percents, there is a way to just glitch to the final boss, so you hardly pick up any gems or any dragons or anything at all. But Spyro 1 is pretty harsh on the requirements, so actually you can't get past them, and you have to pick up 6,000 gems total and 50 dragons. So most of the run we spent doing that before heading to beat the final boss.
Can I just say that this pink Spyro is extremely pink. I didn't expect it to be that big.
Extremely wrong.
Yeah, they weren't joking, it was pink.
Didn't mean well, but it must be the default one.
I was just trying to make it one, I think it went well.
You guys got outbid. You got like 70. What was the default? Yeah, default was only like £25 and pink got 72.
So on flight levels, there's a bit of a risk-reward thing. So the closer you fly to the water or to the ground, then the faster you'll go. But then the more likely you're going to accidentally crash into it and then end the level early. And if you end, there is 60 gems for each set of items you pick up in this flight level. And if you pick them all up in one go, then there's 60 more. So if you miss the final one, then you'll be getting 180 gems instead of 300 gems, which is a pretty big change. And that's that.
Do you do the thing where you have to slam your head into something at the end?
I don't think that is possible on this level. On later ones it is.
Okay.
And loses time in game time, but saves it in real time. So you notice there I retried the level and walked back to the start. That's just a bit quicker than heading out normally. So for the remake, you gain the ability to warp to any visited level right at the start, whereas in the original you had to unlock it by beating the final boss. So we used it a few times. If you're going full for in-game time strats, then you can save about 10 seconds by doing it multiple times in Stonehill, but that means loading in and out of Stonehill a couple of times, which isn't ideal for a marathon, so I'll just be taking a slightly longer route in game time, but much quicker real time because you don't need to load.
you're doing a real-time speedrun, right?
Yeah.
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 I haven't fully re-optimized the route for real time, but I've just made a few changes. I've skipped one level and moved the dragons elsewhere.
Do we have time for a donation?
Absolutely.
Okay, we have £10 from Cognition, 10 towards Vivi to be named Roxas. I'll donate another 10 if Zoggoth nails the... Okay, I'm so sorry. Nasty Naught trick or Ganasty Naught trick. I don't know which one of those two is how you pronounce it.
I believe it was pronounced Ganasty Gnork in the cutscene we skipped.
Is it really?
Wait, whoa, is it?
Nice.
That's controversial.
I played this game, I swear it was Nasty Dog.
In the original, he's definitely.
Maybe it was deliberately mispronounced, because they were awfully rude about him. They called him simple, they said he was no threat, and that's the entire plot of the game. They said he was ugly, and so he turned all the dragons into stone, and now we have to rescue the dragons.
The story of Spyro is there's a guy named Nasty North. You go to him. Turns out it's not a threat at all when you win the game.
Spoilers.
I'd like to know if he turned all the dragons into stone. How come Spyro was spared?
He ducked.
What did you expect?
Why didn't the other dragons duck?
They're too big.
They thought he wasn't a threat. Like they said.
Oh, little Spyro. He tried really hard.
Okay.
So, quite early on in the game, there are very few gems, or at least very low value gems. So the red ones are the least valuable, they're 1, the green ones are worth 2, blue ones are worth 5, and gold ones are worth 10. There's also occasionally purple ones which are worth 25. So early on, it's not very time efficient to pick up many gems. We pick up a few, but mostly we're concentrating on picking up dragons. The requirement to leave the first world is 10 dragons, and we'll end up picking up 12 before moving on. So the first world has about 1,000 gems, the second one has 2,000, and then after that it's all 2,500. So obviously the later on you get, the more valuable it is to pick up gems. But you do pick up a couple early just because there happen to be unusually high value ones in your way. Right. Hopefully I get this straight. There's some weird geometry on this dragon platform. No. Oh well. So hopefully when that fairy comes up, she accidentally collides with you and launches you about 3 times the height of the level, and that allows you to jump up to the platform you saw on my right. I'll just go back there a different way. Also unintended, but a bit slower.
So some of the movement text
It's not really that technical to be honest. I mean, by gliding into walls and then immediately jumping, you can scale walls pretty quickly. But I don't think it doesn't save an enormous amount of time. It's just matching X.
It's pretty good to get there, though, actually getting smacked by the thing to get smacked
Oh,
up.
that was a small mistake. I was meant to, instead of exiting level, which brings you out of the portal, I was meant to use the guide to get back to Artisans, which will send me back to the middle. So I'll take a little while to navigate back to the centre, but it's only 5-10 seconds.
As pointed out by Zedo in chat, Spyro is still default color in loading screens.
Yes. You cannot change that, unfortunately.
What are we paying for? Scam.
So as you can see, I'm spending all this time charging back when I could be starting to around here.
So charge jumping is gone completely.
Charge, do you mean flame charging?
Oh, flame charging.
Yes, that is gone. So flame charging is a strat in the original where... So if you charge an enemy, then their gems jump straight to you. Whereas if you flame an enemy, then their gems will just pop out and then you can pick them up from the floor. So obviously you want the gems to go straight towards you so that you don't have to spend time picking them up. Now it used to be that if you flamed an enemy and then charged before you killed them, then it would be treated as a charge and the gem would jump towards you. Unfortunately that doesn't work here, so the best way to kill enemies that can't be flamed, can't be charged, sorry, is to flame them and then jump up and pick up their gem as it pops up in the air. So you just need to remember where it pops up, and it's not enormously difficult. Right, 499, that's about where I want to be. Probably a little bit ahead. I won't skip any gems, I've got a list of how many gems I needed after each level. I'll probably save skipping gems until the end, just in case I mess up and miss a couple. I'd rather have a bit of leeway, because my route is mapped down to the single gem.
Yeah, all the Spyro speedruns that actually have to collect gems, the routing of the gems is super important. If you get caught out and don't have enough gems, there often isn't quick backups, so it's really important to adapt as you go and identify if you're ahead or behind.
So we've already got past the first barrier, which is to have 10 dragons, and the next barrier to get to Magic Crafter's World is to have 1200 gems. We'll pick up significantly more than that, since at this point gems are pretty abundant. Let's get that guy because he only has 2 gems. I should talk about how you tell how to kill enemies. So you have 2 attacks, flame and charge. Big enemies cannot be flamed. So big enemies cannot be charged, small and metal enemies cannot be flamed. Sometimes you have big metal enemies and they have to be killed in special ways. For example, there's one that you have to charge repeatedly until it slowly falls off the edge of a cliff. Or maybe they'll have an unarmoured back.
Or supercharge.
Or supercharge, which will turn up later. Yeah, I managed to get that one. So that one didn't manage to get it. Oh, that's not an intended jump. You're not intended to be able to make that jump. But I didn't make it. But I have a backup dragon here. I'll be a few jumps over.
Is there a disadvantage to having too many gems?
No, not at all. So it just means that you can skip what's done later.
So I guess having an excess of gems means you could have saved time.
Yeah.
Yeah, excessive gems is good. Apart from the fact that you could have not picked them up.
Yeah.
That does look pink to me.
It's in the sun.
Static
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When he's gliding about.
So not really scammed, just like tiny
Yeah.
bit scammed.
Maybe like 5% scammed.
Do parallel.
Oh yeah. That's not a barrel roll. It's an airline roll.
I guess
You should know this, Jay.
Have it.
the wide
So you should be able to get those without getting hit. Unfortunately, I did get hit. I probably should have just headed straight to the portal rather than chasing after them, but it's fine. I'm significantly over-gemmed.
Yeah,
How far ahead are you?
because you missed the...
Yeah, because I missed the dragon.
You like 60 gems ahead, 20?
I'm almost 60 gems.
That's pretty good.
I would skip the cool thing at the start of this level, but I'd rather just show it off and skip something less cool.
Oh yeah, this level is...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's not at all intended.
Yeah, it's intended. You're supposed to go all the way to the top of the level to get there.
So it's not really a glitch per se. They're quite lenient on how late you can jump after you charge off the edge of a... I mean, really, you shouldn't be able to jump after you've reached the edge anyway.
This game is generally easier than the first game. It's more lenient on you for jump. So sometimes you'll make something you wouldn't have made in the first game. For example.
Goodness sake.
A lot of platforms have that mechanic, for example, like Crash 1, where if you walk off an edge in very briefly, you can still jump, because it makes it feel more lenient rather than really unforgiving.
Yeah. So that was the first egg. We will eventually, to get to the fourth world, we will need 5 eggs. It took me quite a while to get that firework. That's not the intended way to get it either. I meant to glide down from up here.
Yeah, this level is you're supposed to wrap around yourself and then basically go through the whole level to get to the high ground up here, and then use this to glide to later levels. But as you saw, Zoggoth was basically doing anything to get to this place quicker.
Even though the exit portal is still there, I still exit through the menu. I think
Faster?
it's...
Probably.
As long as your menuing is good, it must be slightly faster, right?
Yeah.
Professional menuing.
Why even are there exits?
The exits come into play in exactly one instance.
Oh, really?
So the first boss of the boss of the Artisan's World is not accessible until you have used at least one portal in the Artisan's World.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that is really random.
I think it's just so you don't go there fast.
Yeah.
Because it is a surprisingly hard level for the first world. Because there's multiple enemies that take 2 hits. And they're pretty aggressive, so...
That's pretty powerful.
Well, I think it's just because the nice guy still is pink. It is pink, viewers. Okay, you haven't been scammed.
There we
A
are.
bit more pink now.
I think I went through the entirety of this game and 100%ed it, and I actually had no idea that you could just exit like that and then save. I used to like get all the gems and then go to the exit portal, and now I feel stupid.
You would think a lot of games would just take all the gems off you. You didn't actually exit properly, but...
Okay, I don't know. I'm starting to feel a bit scammed here.
So one thing I want to say about the flying levels is, so all of the like items that he's getting, like for example the chests, the level designers of the game have actually put them in like a nice arrangement so that you can get them all in a row, like quite conveniently. But it turns out that it's not the fastest way. So Zoggoth, is, as you know, you can see, is mixing and matching between them because it's a lot faster, but it actually makes it much harder, especially ones where they're moving on a cycle. If he messes up, then he could get off the cycle he wants to be on, and that could be quite bad.
Yeah. In a normal run through, I remember doing this one. I had a lot of trouble with this exact level.
This one is the more difficult one. They're not as lenient on you because there isn't a cycle. So I think that they recognise that the cycles can be pretty tricky to hit.
Yeah.
So they're pretty lenient on just this level.
Yeah, those lighthouses are pretty cool though. You could flame them, but if you fly into them, then you stop flying. So you have to like get right next to them. It's quite tricky.
Crashing into them is the quickest way to turn around in midair. Because usually you've got quite a wide turning angle, but by either crashing into a wall or by charging and immediately gliding again, you can turn very quickly. There's probably a quick way to do this, but it seems really dangerous to be charging about while the camera's turning around, so I always just do 2 glides like that, and goodness sake. This thief. It's been a while since I've got that thief first tried. No, nanny, nana, indeed.
Is it ever explained why they're stealing the dragon eggs?
No. I mean, in the third game, someone steals dragon eggs to gain immortal life, I think. But they don't seem to be. They just seem to be running around with them, taunting you. So
Interesting.
Well, all the dragon statues, so no one's looking after them, I guess. So they're just like, I guess I'll take this.
Dragon eggs probably have some decent value on the black market. It probably makes sense.
This is our first boss level.
yep.
Rip that guy.
Sake.
Press F. That guy.
He does like, oh no, pink fire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing very well here.
So neither of us.
Ah, oh well. Right, so those enemies can't actually damage you. They kill you by just hitting you off the edge. Well, I probably missed some up there because I was charging through too quickly. Yeah, I missed 10 gems. I've got plenty spare. I think I'm 40 ahead of them.
So I guess actually fighting the boss is too slow.
Yeah.
So,
You only get gems for killing the boss, right?
Yeah,
When
only
you get a
gems.
dragon.
yeah.
You get like
Well, not
25
that we
gems
need all the dragons
per
anyway.
round.
I'm pretty sure all the boss levels have the same sort of setup where there's a dragon right in front of the boss and that's the only dragon.
Yeah.
So you still turn up to them because they're usually pretty good for gems. Oh.
Yeah, they're really short, so most of the gems are just available straight away, then it's just the boss, which we just don't bother with.
There is some very strange geometry outside that level. You can sort of stand at a really sharp angle just outside the portal on an invisible wall. What this does mean is that one of the gems is stuck inside that wall, so you need to charge directly into it because Sparks, the little dragonfly following you around, will not pick it up for you. Well, Sparks also shows you how much health you have. So yellow is 4 health, blue is 3, green is 1, and
Nothing is nothing.
Nothing is.
I was 1 ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It means you're about to die.
And it also means you're much slower picking up things.
Yeah, which sucks.
One excellent feature this game has is that while you're in the loading screens between levels, the light on the controller changes colour to tell you how much health you have, which is very useful because I can never remember. And it's useful to know when to go for damage boost strategies in levels. Because obviously if you're green, you don't want to be. It's not worth losing sparks to save a couple of seconds, because you're going to lose it. Because sparks won't be helping you pick up all the gems.
Oh,
Don't pick up that chest, but whatever, that's fine. Right, see if I can get this quickly. Nope, I'll go for the safe strat. So you can just charge along this and while tapping X as you land, but if you just hold X or hold X or press it for too long, you will jump too far and overshoot the next platform.
so these are examples of large metal enemies. There's no way for us to easily kill them.
Yeah.
But we can knock them off the edge. So
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Absolutely.
Cool, so we have £7.13 donated from Andrew Mumby, and the message is round numbers best numbers, and he's saying that because we are now officially at exactly £700 raised.
Hey!
Wow.
Woo!
Right, we'll now be leaving this world because we have enough gems and we've picked up all the fast dragons and gems around here.
apart from that one.
Apart from that one.
I hop aboard for the Magic Crafter's world if you're ready.
I like that your legs just completely clip into it as you jump on them.
Yeah.
I think that's because I'm mashing through his text a little. Quickly.
All magic crafters. Interesting world.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the world with all of the boost pads.
Oh, yeah.
The supercharge.
Yeah, the
There's
supercharge. The one that you supercharge basically everywhere throughout that map. Should be good fun, I hope.
There's a couple which are based around supercharges. We won't see one for a while, but there is one in this level and in the 1-2 ahead. So to get out of this world, we need 5 eggs. We've already picked up 2, I think. This cutscene is slow, but it doesn't matter in game time. So rather than risk jumping, because you can avoid the cutscene by being in the air when it happens, but it's risky in that it's harder to hit
Easier
that
to
one.
miss, yeah.
Yeah. So this level has a cycle right at the start, which means rather than just try to get to the stairs as quickly as possible, if we get there, the stairs will not be ready for us. So we have plenty of time to pick up various bits of gems. So the idea is that when we arrive at the stairs, they'll just be coming up. You saw briefly there were some enemies that transformed the area around them. So they sort of raised up platforms to protect themselves. And one of those is guarding the stairs. And that's why the stairs won't be ready if we just charge straight there.
Yeah, it's those wizards that are creating all of the cycle-based things.
So those 4 aren't. So if we try to climb those stairs there, they would have collapsed before we got to the top. Cool.
Too fast? I'm going to assume that they patched the giant, no collision wall.
Yes, that's in the original there was just a huge wall that wasn't actually there. You could glide straight through it and get to the end. Not to the end of the level, but
Yeah, to skip out of them.
so I was a bit behind, so I went for those red gems. Occasionally I get there too fast and I crash into the wall before it comes down, and that just is, I didn't want to do that right now, so just gliding on this one. This place is very rich in gems. I think it has 500 total, and we get a huge number of those. We skipped that one because it's only a 2. And since we're at full health, might as well damage boost on those fireworks. So it's slightly faster to pick them up by just charging into them and taking some damage. And then all the gems pop straight to you. That guy only has 1 gem.
I've noticed that when you jump up some things, you're charging into the wall, aren't you?
That's gliding into the wall, and if you just mash square while you're doing that, you will sort of hover up the wall a little bit. This game doesn't have hover, that wasn't added in until the second game.
Yeah.
But you can still hover a little bit like that, and it's relatively quick to get up. Yeah.
How does this damage boost work? When does it?
It's just if you charge that particular box, you'll take 1 damage, and then all the gems in it will jump to you. If you just flame it, then it will wait about 2 seconds, and then the gems will spread out around it, and then you've got to run around and pick them up.
Yeah, it's much faster. You just have to take the damage.
Yeah. So as you can see, controls blue to let me know, so I know how much health I am, and I know how risky to take the next strat. Since there are 2 thieves that are basically free, I skip that one. And those remaining thieves should be enough for us to get out of this level.
So the ramp we just went up there in the overworld is actually a super.
Yeah, that's a supercharge ramp. If you charge down it, you will go very fast. You'll be able to break certain things that wouldn't otherwise be breakable. So I don't think we've seen any key chests yet, but there's plenty of heavy metal objects that you won't be able to break by normally charging, but with supercharge you can. We will be using that.
You also jump far as well.
Yes, useful to get long distances. We will not be using that in this level, unfortunately. We skip a decent portion of that, so this has quite a lot of areas that can only be reached like that. But then, because it takes a while to fly through the air, it's not really worth picking up all the gems over there, even though supercharge does make you faster.
There's quite an interesting part to this level there. We're probably basically going to see none of, which is
Oh,
where if you wanted to get 100% in this level, you would need to supercharge through a cave section full of metal spiders that can only be killed with supercharge out at 6.
yeah, it's because I charged in the wrong direction as I was coming out that dragon cutscene. It's fine.
Is this the spider level? Is it?
This is the spider level. We will not be visiting the spiders.
Oh.
Reigniting.
I think you isn't this one you go get the super fire and then fire
Yes.
them instead?
Yes, you
rather
can
than supercharge them.
You can do both.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think the intended way is flame, but it's faster to do the charge.
Oh, okay.
But it's hard. You have to go to the whole cave. Hit
Yeah.
them all.
That thing was even a pain with flame. It was already hard enough.
I love that cave. It's got 70 gems or something in a tiny area, and there's 2 dragons really close together here. So here's a supercharge. That's the amount you need to supercharge.
Wow, you don't need very much on the ramp, do you?
And it means you can charge those without taking any damage, which is good.
Those are the firework chests, right?
Yeah.
That we talked about before.
You still damage boost on that one, because you don't have to be waiting around. If you have fireworks chests that are near other things, then you can flame fireworks chests and go do the other things, and then the fireworks will be ready by the time you get back. So there, you'll usually just flame them, but in most other cases you will damage boost off them, and
Can I just say, as somebody who's not played the Reignited remasters yet, having a minimap is really weird.
yeah,
Like,
that's you can turn that off.
is it used much? Like, do you use it for anything?
No, but I like to have it around.
I think when I played through this, I actually once again had no idea that this mini-map even existed. I've done a good job of just not trying any of the features.
Keep it original.
So
I just pretended that I was 12 when I was playing it and just went through. It was fine.
So I tried to do a nice trick where you pick up the chest, jump around the wall that the druid had sent out, and then hit the druid. Unfortunately, I missed the chest, so that's 25 gems gone. I still have enough gems. It'll be fine. And I don't think it's worth, because in order to get that chest again, I have to... These things are horrible. They have a much longer range than they did in the original. Fortunately, being at low health here isn't a huge problem, because I am about to do a death abuse to walk back to this dragon in a minute. So you can change supercharges to jump even further.
This is the level that it's really fun.
Yeah. This is like the supercharged level.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually got over here the intended way, I'm actually surprised. I guess it was pretty fast.
Again, I don't want to risk trying to glide around that corner and falling off, because then I'd have to get all the way back here. So yeah, you fall off the edge and then you're taken straight back to that dragon, because dragons act as save points. Right, time for another weird angled supercharge where you try to keep it going as long as possible. I messed up the last one, hopefully I won't mess up this one, which is much harder, but I've already lost 10 gems. You hit that, and then you try to bounce into the wall, because bouncing into the wall slows you down. Okay, no, I've managed to... You're meant to be able to hold it all the way up here, and then it's much faster, because it means you don't have to flame these chests. Which is fine.
That looks like with all the steps it would be pretty hard. I guess you have to like very specifically route out when you jump.
Yeah, and you need to be not bonking off walls, going into at a slight angle to slow you down a little bit. So you notice that thief, because I was gliding, didn't have a cutscene when the egg was moving towards me. So I might be a little short on gems, but there's plenty later on to pick up. Coming into the next level, I'm meant to have 2764. Yeesh. Oh, there's a few to pick up on the way, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll need to pick up some more, but that's no big deal.
Oh, it is an interesting case. So the enemy here will not notice you, even though you're in range of them. Because I'm guessing they just don't want you to get attacked immediately coming out of the level. So...
Yeah.
We have another donation from George H. £4.20 with the message "Blaze it."
God.
Thanks for making me read that one out.
I think I'm definitely 12 now.
So we're only like 10 gems behind, right? So
We do really appreciate though, like any amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks very
no,
much
seriously,
for that.
thanks.
Right, this level you immediately drop down here, and then immediately glide out here. You crashed into the gate geometry a bit, because as it collapses it pushes you about, which is horrible. It's not too bad on that one, but later ones can push you into the water as they collapse on top of you, if you try to take them at too sharp an angle. But yeah, you notice I got the planes very quickly at the start there.
Yeah, usually I think when you do this in a normal paper, you go straight for the rings and do the rest of them, rather than go do that.
There is a pretty intentional order for all of these levels. They're set up pretty nicely. I think they're intended that you chase down the airplanes rather than go through them backwards,
Yeah, casually it's a lot harder to go head on,
because
Yeah.
they're coming at you much faster, because it's your speed plus their speed.
and you can crash into them as well.
If you miss a couple, then they'll be turning up around here, which means you can pick them up pretty easily. Right, there we go.
That was really fast.
What is flying levels ILs?
I think my record on that one is 54.0, so I lost 1.5 seconds there. But I'm not going for IL strats where you fly really, really close to the ground, because then you're put at a pretty high risk of crashing in.
If you even touch the wall, it's just done. You have to restart the
Yeah.
levels. So.
And you can't just quit the level, because you lose so many gems for that.
Yeah, Spyro cannot swim in Spyro 1.
He just gets angry and then slaps the wall and be like, "Oh, damn it! Why did you do this to me?"
Oh,
Yeah. My headcanon was always like, water is like really sticky to Spyro, because it's like he's trying to get out of quicksand. Just doesn't look right at all.
No, I mean, like, that's in this one. If you fail the flying missions, he literally just goes damn.
Oh right, in the Reignited trilogy.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's in the original as well. It's pretty.
Oh really? Alright, think about hitting the water.
That's only on the flying levels. On the normal levels, he doesn't just look like he's drowning.
If you're on normal levels, does the police go like,
Yeah.
I should just explain that one. Right, so here's an example of. So you hit that fireworks, then you go off and do something else, and then done by the time you get back. And then you can charge those chests on the second time through. Ooh. There is a cycle here. I don't really understand how it works. These druids raise and lower these platforms. Okay.
So this is another boss level.
Yes, it is.
That's very lucrative.
Very lucrative indeed. So just 20 lying about on the back. And then these two druids are 10 each, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another 50. So hugely worth coming here.
Yeah. We're actually damaging the boss as well, which is a new one.
Oh yeah, I just noticed like that's the win thing is the boss, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh,
We actually killed the boss.
Oh, we killed the boss.
yeah.
Yeah, you almost got all the gems. I think it's 400 for that.
Yeah, there's,
That level's just so worth it for almost
Yeah.
every gem.
it's like a minute and a half or something for 400 gems. Really good. Right. Yeah, I'm 10 gems behind.
That's
How much leeway do you give yourself? None at all? Or?
None at all, but I know where to pick up gems if I'm short at the end.
Okay, cool.
we can recover after. Don't worry about
Would you
it.
like to go?
Okay. 2 lives, that's fine. So occasionally, the little sheep you see jumping around, occasionally they're chickens or other things, but that's how you recover your health. You kill one and then they turn into butterflies, and then your dragonfly will chase the butterfly around, which does mean that he can't pick up gems while he's doing that. So you need to decide what's more worth, you going around picking up gems while you dragonfly, or just carry on with low health. As an extra consideration, added on to just the time it takes to get the butterfly to appear. Again, charging is always better because it gets it to jump to you quicker.
So you said you only needed, was it 50 dragons?
50 dragons, yes, and that's to get out of here. Oops. So I skip that level because I don't want to sit. It's not very lucrative. It's relatively quick once you're inside, but it's 2 loading screens to get in and out. So, those are popping out. Yeah. Since I'm on low health, I don't want to do any weird damage boost. Well, I say low health. I'm only 1 below max health, but that's still low.
You're just playing it safe.
Do you ever pick up any lives at all, or?
So in the original, the first 2 in games 2 and 3, they added in skill points. So you flame all these trees in a particular level that otherwise don't do anything, and you get an extra life. And they've sort of shoehorned them into this game as well. So I pick up a few of those. Things like defeat some of the bosses without taking any damage, and you get extra lives. Here's a good time for showing off being very fast when you're close to water. You can save half a second just going up there by cutting it very fine. That's pretty difficult to do since it's quite difficult to see where you're meant to jump off.
Surprisingly, this is the path that I actually took when I did this normally. This is the first time it's actually going so far I did it. So how's it going to go with?
Yeah.
This one's pretty simple, isn't it? You just kind of go in here, then you kill it.
There's some cycles to make here, but it doesn't really matter if you miss when you just do the same thing at different heights.
This one is a bit different because there's basically just 2 sections, isn't there? There's a section with the planes and the chests, and there's a section with the what do you call them, and the
Nice.
boats.
Good fun.
That's a nice cycle for the plane. They're just going a simple circle.
Yeah. It's,
I think when I was
Well,
doing
right.
it, I was just like kind of flying around randomly, going, "Where's the last plane?"
Yeah.
yeah, I've
So just
definitely done a lot of that while the timer counts down.
Because
Yeah, it's really sad.
and they're going in a figure of 8, and they're in tunnels quite a lot of the time. So if they're in the
Yeah.
tunnel, you can't see where they are. And,
Yeah.
so you pick all these gems while
It's an
you're
evil game.
picking up.
You have to make it hard somehow.
Right, time for one of the most horrible levels. Oh dear. So, this level has these little frog things that they see you from quite a distance away and they're long ranged, so they're pretty difficult to deal with.
Quick donation.
Yeah, sure.
We have £30 from Aiko. Well done, Luke and Spyro.
Excellent. Ico is my dog, so that's probably actually
Oh
from my
my
parents.
god, that's so
Aw.
cute.
What dog is it?
She is a Cocker Spaniel.
That's an okay dog. I give it a 7 out of 10.
I'll have you know, all dogs are good dogs.
There you go. So this is a level that is sort of circular, so you just go. So usually that's just good level design because it means you can get people to go from the end of the level to back to the start. And it's a nice.
Yeah, you just cheated the entire level. How could you do this? Oh,
But I
That's
just
good.
do it the other way around, just straight from the start to the end.
yeah. It was good that you like use the water to boost yourself basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny in this game that you could just start the level, immediately exit it, and you will have achieved nothing.
Well, you got that dragon near the exit, that'd be good.
Yeah, just jump straight to the exit. I'm done.
Right, time to deal with some frogs.
Here we go, level. That's right, like.
Well, I was like, yeah.
I'll just take these frogs to save.
60 frogs.
Is there still the death room in this level?
Yes, and I will be doing the death run. Turns out it's relatively fast if you're. I routed out assuming that I did well, and because the death room is so hard, but it's
What?
maybe not worth it. So this is full of frogs and also these enemies that are also pretty
Is
nasty.
this considered the death room?
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I hated this place. I
He's-
feel I died like 4
He's
times.
making it look really easy, but there's that
No damage,
there's
nice.
legitimately like 10 enemies there, like, and the frogs are really, really bad. They're like all protecting each other. It's rough.
I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Takes a while to get back, but it's worth it still because there's some. I think all those enemies have 4 or 5 gems. So guess I'll pick up these.
Do you have a PB for this?
I don't know what my PB is in real time. In game time, it's 32:45.
Are we going to get to see the
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll
I look forward to it.
another quick 20 gems. Oh, those trees are also pretty nasty. They are.
Do
If
guys-
you
Sorry, Michael, you keep going.
if you flame them slightly too late, then they will eat you, and then they take ages chewing you, and they spit you out, and you take ages to recover, and then they'll be ready to go straight at you again. It's absolutely horrible. Anyway, what are you going to ask?
Do most people run in-game time or do they run...
In-game time, since then the loading screens don't matter.
Yeah, I thought so.
There's a few cases where I would have changed route, I think I mentioned earlier, but I'd just exit and re-enter a level loads of times because it's quicker than running around. But I'm not going to do that in a marathon.
If the in-game timer is reliable, it's usually used just because it just makes things fairer.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about that lag that keeps happening at the start of the loading thing.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Right, I'm now only 1 gem short.
Oh, nice.
I know exactly where to pick up that gem, assuming that
Yes.
everything else is equal.
Because you're going to pick exactly the number of gems that you want from now on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you have exactly 6,000, that'd be great.
I was going to say, oh, I'll donate for everything over 6,000, but then I remembered that after you reach 6,000 gems, there is another level where you pick up a whole load of gems, and I don't want to donate for all of those.
So this is Treetops.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Very infamous level.
I will be choosing both of the notorious gems.
So casually in the original at least, this level is well known for having some of the hardest gems to get. You have to do a very unobvious, crazy super glide, like super jump and glides around the whole map.
Oh my god.
Wow.
No, that's cheating! Oh, I'm actually so sad now.
And the thief arrives just in time.
Yeah, so this is the island that's really hard to get
Yeah.
to.
Oh. You're supposed to like go down the ramp that I guess you're about to go left on down this
Yeah,
ramp. So you
you-
go down that ramp, you jump across and do a bunch of stuff and fail it 50 times and then lose your lives and restart. But no, you just
And the chest down here.
Actually putting a key in the chest.
Yeah, you can charge that chest, but I don't think it's much quicker, so I don't bother. Wow, that's what the slow says. I'm on track for dragons, that's good.
Is it 50 dragons we need?
Yes, 50 dragons. So there's one more to get.
And just go full gems.
Yeah. And because of that, you don't want to be picking up too many gems in the last few areas because it's quicker to pick up the gems and the dragons at the same time. What do you think of that?
Oh, for
That doesn't look intended. So your mobility in the air is a lot better in super gliding than it was in the original. There's no way you could do that.
Ooh, missed five there.
Jake learning
I
all
feel
these
like
strats.
I've been scammed. I've been scammed.
Thing is, I'm just gonna do that in my casual playthrough now.
It's much easier.
You have to go through the pain that I did.
For that first one, there's a really nice setup. You, when you go into the dragon cutscene, you immediately skip the dragon cutscene. You hold right on the square, and it pretty much does it automatically for you. You get the super jump exact. You get the charge exactly, and then you can jump up pretty easily. And they put their giant hut there to stop you from doing that, but you just maneuver around the hut by holding right the whole time.
For a donation.
Excellent.
Okay, so we have £5 from Flavorful Feral. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Always stoked to see a Spyro run in a speedrun event. Good luck, Zoggoth. Put this donation towards naming the Final Fantasy IX character Shaggy.
Okay. I presume that's whichever one's already being named Shaggy.
I think so.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk a bit about Special Effect, which is the charity we're raising all this money for, and it's insane that you guys have donated so much. They're a charity that help disabled gamers access games by creating their own technology, like modified joypads and eye control and crazy stuff like that. And they're honestly an amazing charity, and I suggest you look them up and stuff. Well worth the cause.
So I take a bit of an unusual route around here because I don't think the picking up the key and opening the chest is very good. Most people do, but I'm a bit iffy on it. And time to fight another boss. Here's the final dragon, by the way. We will be picking up a few after this, but that's not to reach any particular threshold. That's because that individual dragon is required.
A bit too early.
Yeah.
So we find this boss the intended way?
Yes. There's not really any, because the boss is invincible. The way you kill it is by draining all of its power.
Yeah.
By taking out all of these.
Oh, I've been scammed again.
What do you mean?
I waited for this guy to shoot stuff at me, then hit them.
Yeah.
Am I done?
You can just charge me.
Oh my god!
Just
What am I
charge the
doing?
thing.
How
I think you scammed yourself.
I'm scammed.
It was a very fitting comment in chat. This run is tilting so many people who played it when they were kids.
I really have been tilted. I really did just wait, you know. I waited I waited next to the thing until he chucked stuff at you for all of them.
But you fully experienced the game, Jake.
There's less than 1,000 gems to go.
Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, you don't want to be picking up too many gems in the last world because I've already got all the dragons I need, and it's much quicker to pick up all the dragons that are surrounded by gems rather than picking up all separately. I never could understand why people picked up that. Oh, it's because it's meant to launch and hit that guy over here. Oh. But I missed him anyway, so hey, an extra life. I have 5 lives. I will probably not need any of them. At this point of the game, they start being very generous with lives, even though you're right at the end and you don't need them anymore. I mean, it'd be really useful in treetops because it's quite possible to fail the jumps and then die.
As Jake previously mentioned.
Exactly. But here, I don't need them at all.
I really did mess up that jump so many times.
Okay, I'll take the easy version of that.
Yeah, it's not really intended to be able to
Oh,
get
for goodness
straight
sake.
up there.
Oh.
You're supposed to go all the way around.
I'm surprised that there isn't a... because usually when you go up there the normal way, you get a little spiral thing that will take you up there for free the second time. But even though I've been up there, because I went into that portal, it hasn't appeared.
The game's just angry at you for
For
breaking it.
scamming. You've scammed the developers of their time making those jumps.
Why is Spyro like clipped through the basket?
How's this happen?
What have you done, Zoggoth?
He's like slightly to the left for no reason, isn't he?
That hasn't happened before.
How are you doing on gems?
I'm 5 short, but I'm
Still there.
So how many are you behind?
10. 5 even.
Yeah, so we're doing fine, basically.
Look good. Just don't be like one behind when you get to the last bit. That'd be very sad.
Okay, well I took this route, which means I'm going to be doing the hard jump.
That level, that jump looks pretty hard.
It is possible. I've done it at least once before, but I've failed it many more times. And takes you all the way back here. I'll just do it. I'll just take the portal.
Is this the Magic Raptors world? The last world before Nessie Knox world?
Yes, it is.
I remember casually as a young child really struggling to get like through these levels. There's some pretty cool mechanics, like you see all the plate enemies there when they go big, and obviously you can't do anything to them then.
Yeah, because they're large, so you can't charge them, and they are armoured, so you can't flame them.
You meant Dreamweavers, by the way, right? Not Magic Crafters.
The Dreamweavers.
Magic
Sorry.
Crafters are the last one.
Yeah, sorry, did I say Dreamweavers.
So those two will never be made smaller by
Yeah,
this
and they
cannon.
just troll you. They like sit
Normally.
there like laughing at you.
So you've got
It's
to
really small.
gain control of the cannon yourself and then get them. All the others will, in the world, will be made smaller and bigger whenever you come near them.
For these jesters, when you attack them, they turn into clocks and then temporarily activate something, usually a platform.
Right, one last
They're actually
flight level.
invincible, but they're invincible until they come back after that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they stay there for about 5 seconds or something, or so it varies, and then you can flame them again to activate it again.
I guess it's nice than just having a button on the side.
Almost
when you press.
1337, but actually 5.
That is what I was thinking, but I just really didn't want to say it. So thanks for going for that.
More lighthouses with weird hitboxes. There's a nice cycle you can make here, but I never go for it because if you mess it up, then the trains all run off and then you've got to chase them down. It's horrible. So I will not be going for that cycle. I'll just go for the 1 minute one
This
strategy
is
instead.
Yeah, I'm happy with this one. I'm not being scammed. This is how I did it. Not being scammed.
This is the fight level I always think of when I think of, oh god, like the cycle's running away. Because like the train line is really long and there's so many tunnels and you can't see like most of it. Like I think many times I would get like all but one train and then like lose 30 seconds or
Yeah.
trying to find the
Yeah,
last
this
train.
mini-map's really helpful. You can see almost all.
Yeah, actually,
Oh, no,
the mini map,
this way.
guys. It exists.
I know. What is it?
What's this mini map?
Okay, well
Always.
this is a pretty horrible level. I missed one train, I missed this guy.
Oh, it's fine.
I'll just follow the train tracks around in the opposite direction and hope.
This is the
You are
casual
going.
strats now. Just
Yeah, this
follow
is
the train
all-
strats.
Ah, this feels good. I feel like I've got my penance back.
There we go.
Jake is untilted.
Yeah, I lost about 15 seconds there. Oh well.
No biggie.
We've got another donation, £6 from Anonymous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Right, so I think I was
Thank you.
9 short. I know where I will try to get exactly
Oh, so you-
6,000. I
So
think.
you were 5 short, and now you're 9 short.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, it's slipping away.
So there's 2, and I think I know where I can get exactly 7. So
So we're going into the boss level, right?
yes,
So this is, like other boss levels, incredibly lucrative. And so super worth the time doing it.
I think the boss alone has 175 gems.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get the rest of your gems in just in this level.
Yep. I'll get 330 something. Then 7 outside of this level. On the stairs. Oh, no I won't. I'll get those 7. Forgot about those. You can get them as you're raising that platform up, but if you miss, then you can't jump up onto the platform, and then you have to wait for it to come back down. So I just took the safe step there. Oop.
It's fine.
Yay! I got that bit. Managed to charge them and then land on the platform which they were on.
Harder than it sounds. It's one of the rare purple 25 gems.
So I skipped that dragon, which means if I die here, then I'm back to the start. But that's not huge. That's not enormously likely.
Jax looks quite different than he was today.
What?
Nice.
Scammed.
Spyro just likes clipping through things today.
Unfortunately, you can't do it with that one, which would be really helpful because then you wouldn't have to wait for those gems. Right, I think that should take me to exactly 6,000.
Well, we'll see. I'll be pretty impressed if it is.
I think you're one short.
Someone donate £1 to make up for the last gem.
Quick, guys, we
It'll
need a
help,
gem.
honest.
We need a gem. Where are you gonna get this gem?
It has to be a red gem now. No, it's okay.
Fortunately, you get a red gem just as you leave this level for free, so...
Oh, routed! Routed!
Oh, you scammed us! You scammed us!
Tricked! The bamboozle, he thought.
Oh, god damn it.
We thought he was
We've
one
been
short.
scammed.
Right, so now there's no clever gem routing or anything else left to do.
Yay!
It's now you just need to complete the last 3 levels and then you're done. Unfortunately, you need to pick up a dragon because otherwise the levels don't open up properly. But
So I assume that there isn't a huge skip that was in the original where you like...
that huge
cut
skip
through
is
the-
not there, you need to go through.
Yeah, that's actually a really horrendous trick. I would not want to run a game where you play through the entire game and then right at the end you do a ridiculous strategy that just makes or breaks the run. And PB is just determined by like how few attempts it takes you to get it.
So those little dragon heads you saw around the edges, you can clip through, sort of glide through the teeth of one of them, and you need to get quite high and you need to glide in exactly the right angle.
Yeah, that's in the original.
Yeah, it just takes however many tries it takes.
It's just
But no such skip in this, so...
yeah.
You just need to go through these 2 levels as quickly as possible and then you're on the final boss. Let's jump around that. Oops.
Not even close.
There we are.
No.
Please, give me that. Oh. Oop. Okay.
Oh no, no spark. I guess we don't really need sparks.
We don't need sparks, but I...
You need to not die.
Oh, actually, I tell a lie, I do need sparks coming up, so there's a damage boost. So I will... Oh, that was handy. Go on, fire now. So you can get past them, and you can also...
That was
Did
pretty
you get
scam.
scammed?
They're doing
That
their
wasn't
best.
really scammed. That was just kind of like a semi-scam.
You can also go around the left side. I think it's slightly quicker, but you need to charge and jump on the edge a few times. So rather than accidentally fall off and lose my life, and go straight back to the start of the level.
Oh, it's called the Gnexus.
Yes.
Nice.
North code.
I don't think picking that up loses time. Maybe this takes extra time, but I think it's just the same regardless of whether you have any treasure. I haven't timed it though, because normally you just try not to hit it.
Can we keep the rounded number?
Yeah, 2 times already.
It makes me happy to seeing like zeros at the end.
Yeah.
I will be picking up stuff here, so unless I happen to...
So these guys still have guns.
They still have guns, but they shoot like Splatoon-style goo instead of...
Right, actual
Bullets.
bullets. Which is kind of an interesting choice in the original Spyro for a children's game. But you know, back
I
in
do-
those times it was different.
It's still full of 12-year-olds.
This dragon is not required, but it makes this next trick a little bit easier. You. Ooh. Just line it up properly rather than try to do it backwards.
Sleepless queen.
Avoid this too good.
That's just quicker than going
That
through
was
normally.
pretty good actually.
That was nice, yeah.
I'm very
Yeah, you don't normally do that. It's like that was a bit more of a big scam.
I mean, I was just going fast.
Yeah, let's go
I'm
fast.
kind of
It's normally
surprised that there
go
isn't
fast.
any levels where you can just found a skip to go straight to the end.
Well, even if you could go straight to the end, then you'd miss a load of gems on the way, since the main reason you're going into levels in the first place is to find gems.
No, but I mean, these levels, we don't need gems, right?
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
there's n-
Is this where the extra £10 will come in if you
Yes.
do the skip? Okay.
hang on, the skip. Oh, I see.
I don't know. The donation incentive was £10 if you do the Gnasty Gnorc skip.
Who was this from?
Cognition.
Ah, I know exactly what
Trick,
cognition
sorry.
means.
Trick instead of skip. No pressure.
There is indeed no pressure. I am perfectly capable
So
of.
here, that's Nasty Nord, by the way. You saw him for about 1 second.
Right, there's one thief.
You will see him more. His backside, anyway.
He's the last boss, and he's the least threatening boss. He can't even hit you. If you charge straight at him, he will shoot over your head.
Yeah, so his this boss, like the main attack that he has is run away. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if that slowed me down at all. Yeah, you just have to get to the end as quickly as possible. I don't think he even attacks you from this point on. He just runs
Yeah,
away.
he does just run away.
Yeah.
Runaway strats.
Right, so next time I hit Gnasty Gnorc, that will be time.
Oh,
You have to be ready on time.
but is it really Nasty Gnorc or is it Gnasty Gnorc? Can we have some like verification?
He's
in the
Gnotiganel.
cutscenes?
He's
So-
Gnotiganovlin. He's a
No,
Gnorc.
no!
Time.
Sure.
There you go. There you go, cognition.
Is that a special
I've just realised what he meant by the Gnasty Gnorc trick.
Right, you got pay up.
Well, he did it for
£10?
He did it for £10. Don't worry, everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
It's allowed.
That's
It's
definitely
me, not
illegal.
Tanksy.
Right, what was the time? Real time.
1 hour 37 seconds real time.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
I'm
good.
happy with
10
that.
minutes investment. basically.
And there's my end game time. That's a PB. I'm happy with that.
Oh.
too.
Oh,
Whoa!
that's amazing.
Did you say your PB was 32 minutes 24?
Yeah, 32:45, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, so
nice!
it's like 20 seconds, isn't it? Nice.
So 20
You
seconds
did it
in.
once.
Easy
Yeah.
PB.
Incredible. Wow. That's really, really
Yeah,
good.
really good one. Special
It's a bit this.
commentary and stuff.
Someone
Yeah.
please Google if it's actually Nasty North, please. I need to know.
Tell you
do
what.
it.
Tell me what. We'll restart. I will show you.
Don't do it.
Because the opening cutscene, they say his name.
Okay, I need
But
like.
are they just mocking him though?
I don't know.
Like,
Oh,
this is the
no.
controversy.
Okay, I need to hear
Lo and behold, look at this guy with silent
just-
G's in his name.
See what he's called in the game, and then we'll move on.
Do we need serious time?
No, it's fine. You can play through this.
Come on, can we
Right.
load?
Okay, I think chat needs to weigh in on this.
Okay, rolling. Oh, it's been peaceful here.
Right here, someone please
Cheers.
confirm.
Can you make the headphone louder?
Pardon?
Can you make this headphone louder? There's a knob. There's a knob.
Knobs? Guys, get on it.
No. Gnasty Gnorc. There you
No!
go.
Was it Gnasty
It was
Gnorc?
Gnasty
He
Gnorc.
does say Gnasty Gnorc,
Oh,
but
we've
is he
been-
misreading it? Who knows?
Maybe that's what annoyed him in the
It's-
first place.
It's official.
Oh, this is so bad.
Thank you
Hey,
very
look,
much
that's
for that.
Nasty.
And they've got the old
Incredible
school
run.
bad memes. Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh my
yeah, if you
God.
go in the room, if you go in the room at the end of the game, you can actually go in there and see all the bad
Imagination
memes.
rhymes with destination, or was it?
It's just bad,
Yeah.
really old bad
It's
memes.
just motivational posters.
Yeah,
And
thank
knowledge.
you.
Knowledge.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that
Excellent,
incredible run, Luke. That
Yeah,
was,
that was fantastic.
that
That's really
was
fun.
amazing, and a PB as well.
Excellent.
That is the peak marathon performance right there.
Yeah.
And you now understand the deep lore of Spyro.
We do. So
We
next,
called Ganassi Gnorc ugly, and then he turned us all into stone.
so next up, we've got a retry of Tomb Raider, the first game, 2013, by Zedo. We tried it earlier, but the frame rate was super broken, but we think we fixed the problem, so hopefully you're in for a really great run. And I think I've just received a donation, so 1 second. Here we go. We have £10 from Cognition for dabbing on the haters.
You're welcome.
Oh, for God's sake.
Excellent. Okay, we
Right.
will go to a break and we'll be back
Yeah.
in five or so minutes. Thanks very much.